The voice, the heart, the soul of the Cayman Islands.
For the record, proudly brought to you by Pirates Fest 2022. Stay in the know. Get the full event lineup at piratesfestcayman.com.
Vamped Motors, the only authorized Ford and Toyota dealership serving the Cayman Islands. Coca-Cola, available across the Cayman Islands from Tortuga distributors. Accept no substitutes. Taste the feeling with Coca-Cola. Brand Source Home Gallery, inspiring luxury. West Bay Pharmacy, taking care of your health. And JN Money.
From abroad to yard.
Fast, affordable, convenient. Doctor's Hospital. Peace of mind is important when life happens. Doctor's Hospital. Always there for you. Call 949-6066.
This is For the Record with Orrett Connor.
Coming to you live from Radio Cayman Studio.
For the record.
For the record. For the record. Hear from your government officials, independents, and the opposition on issues that matter to you. For the record. Engage in an open dialogue between residents and lawmakers.
For the record.
For the record. The record. Informative, impartial, insightful.
This is your talk show.
1-800-534-8255. Your calls, your input. This is For the Record. And now, your host, Orrett Connor.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. O land of soft, fresh breezes and verdant trees so fair. Today is Wednesday, the 23rd day of November 2022, right here in the beautiful Cayman Islands. We hope and we trust that everyone had a restful, peaceful, enjoyable evening. Those of you who are on the roads of the Cayman Islands, we urge you to please be extremely cautious, whether you're a pedestrian, a cyclist, or if you're operating any type of motorized vehicle. There may be some portions of our roadways that may be wet because there was some precipitation in some areas as well. So again, please be careful. Adjust your driving to suit the weather conditions as well. And remember to use your indicators when negotiating a roundabout or whenever you're changing directions while you're moving. Please do that as well. Bear in mind that if you do so, then the life you save may just be your own. For those of you who are celebrating a birthday today, or if you've celebrated one over the past few days, we wish you a belated happy birthday. And to remind you that the For the Record birthday shoutouts are proudly brought to you by life insurance agents Michael Webster from Cayman Insurance Center. Make the right decision for your family's future today. That's the advice given to you from life insurance agent Michael Webster from Cayman Insurance Center as well. Those of you who have lost loved ones, again, we want to express our sincere condolences to you. We hope and we trust that your faith will help to carry you through these extremely challenging times, and that the memories of your loved ones will continue to be a blessing to you as well. Those of you who are ill and are at home or at a medical facility here in the Cayman Islands or overseas, we wish you a speedy recovery. So, folks, I want to thank you for allowing Radio Cayman, and by extension, For the Record, into your homes, into your vehicles as you traverse the busy roads of the Cayman Islands, into your places of work, wherever that may be. As you know, For the Record is a show produced by the staff and management of Radio Cayman, and it is geared towards keeping you abreast of issues as they arise and play out on the local, regional, and international scene. I am your host, Orrett Connor, and you're welcome to join me every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 7:30 a.m. until 10 a.m. During that period, our phone lines are open, and back with us, that beautiful, familiar radio voice of Miss Susan Watson. You can call us on our toll-free number provided courtesy of Flow, that toll-free number 1-800-534-8255. You can also call us on 949-8037 and 949-6990. Email us at fortherecord, one word, fortherecord at candw.ky. WhatsApp us 925-3261, where you can send us a text message or leave us a voice note, the contents of which will be played during the course of the show. And of course, you can follow us on YouTube simply by subscribing to Radio Cayman live stream. Do not forget also that we are on Facebook, live on Facebook as well. No guests in the studio yet, but we will have guests, at least one guest, possibly two later on in the morning. Meanwhile, let's look at the birthday greetings that we have today. Today's birthday, Mr. Chris Moxham. This is based on Facebook posts, right, Miss Susan? Coming from Facebook, these birthday. So, Chris Moxham, Shireen Roden, Jonathan Ortega, Jacinta Mohammed. So those are persons that we have found on Facebook who are celebrating a birthday today. Jacinta Mohammed, Jonathan Ortega, Shireen Roden, Chris Moxham. And we want to wish all of them a happy birthday. And if you know someone who's celebrating a birthday today, please feel free to provide that information to us, or if they've celebrated one over the past few days, we can give a belated happy birthday shout out as well. And not to mention if they are going to celebrate one, let's say tomorrow, because God willing on Friday, then, we will have the birthday shout outs again. And to remind you that the For the Record birthday shout outs are proudly brought to you by life insurance agent Michael Webster from Cayman Insurance Center. He reminds you, make the right decision for your family's future today. Make that right decision today. So check Mr. Michael Webster at Cayman Insurance Center as well. So, folks, we have some breaking news, some good news. I have not yet seen it in our local newspapers, at least not on the online versions, and I would imagine that the online version mirrors the hard copies as well. But this is certainly good news. I saw this on the Royal Gazette, a Bermuda newspaper, yesterday, shared it with friends and colleagues as well. And this is talking about beneficial ownership and a decision made by the European Court just recently. So the headline is European Court rules against EU on beneficial ownership. So the article starts off by pointing out the top European Court struck down a European Union mandate for public registers of beneficial ownership of all companies in a decision which could stall global efforts to force countries to have open beneficial registers. The European Court of Justice said that public registers infringed upon fundamental rights of privacy and personal data protection. The article goes on to point out that Bermuda has long resisted efforts to make beneficial ownership register public, arguing that authorities which can show reasonable cause to identify beneficial owners have always been able to do so. And I would say there, I would add my 5 cents there, that the Cayman Islands we have taken the same position as Bermuda, as well in that regard. And later on, we will look at, I will research and find the decision, because I believe that there is an order in council that has been draft order in council that has been prepared in the event that the overseas territories do not comply with this. And I think that comes up in 2023 possibly, but we will have more details on that. So I'll read that part again. Bermuda has long resisted efforts to make beneficial ownership registers public, arguing that authorities which can show reasonable cause to identify beneficial owners have always been able to do so. However, the island said in 2020 that it would make ownership registers public in 2023, provided this was a global standard by then. The EU ruling throws that commitment in doubt. So again, similar position that the Cayman Islands took, that we would make those ownership registers public in 2023, provided that that was a standard that was adopted globally as well. So the article goes on to say, upon hearing of the court ruling, former Finance Minister Bob Richards responded, "This is good news for Bermuda, although I am under no illusion that our opponents won't try some other tactic." The article then points out that the European Justice's rule that the provision whereby the information on beneficial ownership of companies incorporated within the territory of member states is accessible in all cases to any member of the general public is invalid. The court has ruled that registers containing the personal details of the owners of a company and accessible to the general public is an infringement of fundamental rights of privacy and personal data protection. In accordance with the Anti-Money Laundering Directive of the European Parliament and of the Council, a Luxembourg law adopted in 2019 established a register of beneficial ownership and provided that a whole series of information on the beneficial owner of registered entities must be entered and retained on that register. A statement from the court said, this is a statement coming out from the European Court, some of that information is accessible to the general public, in particular through the internet. That law also provides that a beneficial owner may request Luxembourg Business Register, the administrator of the register, to rescind access to such information in certain cases. In that context, the tribunal was seized of two actions brought by a Luxembourg company and by the beneficial owner of such a company, respectively, which had previously unsuccessfully requested LBR to restrict the general public's access to information concerning them. I have to take a pause here for our usual commercial break. I will share the remainder of this article with you, but this is a significant ruling, and it will no doubt impact us here in the Cayman Islands as well, and it will be heartening to hear from some of our authorities or those in the business community as well as to how this will benefit the Cayman Islands. Please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back shortly.
The Cayman Islands boasts of a long, colorful, and rich history. In tribute to our roots, Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands, is pleased to bring you the Historical Vignette Series, brought to you by Rotary Central. For more than 110 years, Rotary members have used their passion, energy, and intelligence to take action on sustainable projects. The Cayman Islands, He hath founded it upon the seas.
Land ownership, like many societies, has been extremely important to the Cayman Islands. Outside of the land grants of 1735 to 1742, the traditional Caymanian method of acquiring land ownership was to claim, mark, work, and build on any unused tract of land. Although the informal system worked well in the earlier days, a more robust system was put into place which would be to everyone's best interest. The Land Registration Act passed in September 1850, and an official registrar of lands was appointed. Former slaves were able to obtain title to their homes, and larger landowners obtained stronger titles, which permitted them to profit by selling surplus land. The system seems to have worked almost too well, as concerns regarding land ownership became virtually obsolete, and the relatively modest population size did not deplete land resources or create a competitive market. It would not be until 1960 that the land registrations would undergo significant change in order to keep pace with the influence of modern development.
Radio Cayman's historical vignettes was brought to you by Rotary Central. For more than 110 years, Rotary members have used their passion, energy, and intelligence to take action on sustainable projects.
The Rotary Central Music Extravaganza is Saturday, November 26th. Your ticket, your chance, your prize. Grand prize $40,000. Second prize $4,000. 6 $1,000 prizes and more. Get your $25 tickets now through Rotary Central members, Rotary Central ticket sellers, eventpro.ky, or WhatsApp Rotarian Annie Rose Scott in Cayman Brac at 916-7310. The Rotary Music Extravaganza at Salty's Grand Harbor. Performances by Heat, Fabulous 68s, and CNB. November 26th, you can be the winner. Proceeds fund Rotary Central Community Projects. Rotary Central NPO number 232. Rotary, all the good you imagine.
First, there was little. Then there was grand. But just maybe, the best was saved for last. Cayman Brac, the Pirates are coming! Friday, November 25th through the 27th. Friday, Heritage Day and Gimme Story at Spot Bay Community Cove starting at 10 a.m. and kickoff party at 9 p.m. at Coral Isle Club. Saturday continues with a family fun day at Scott's Dock, followed by the boat float parade starting at Buccaneers. Cut to the dock with fireworks show and after party at Tiger Bay Cafe. Sunday finishes with the Pirates farewell lunch at the Alexander Hotel. They came, they partied, they conquered. Pirates Fest Cayman Brac, November 25th through the 27th.
What's that? No sugar, same amazing taste? Coca-Cola Zero Sugar is here to stay. Classic taste, pure satisfaction. Be sure to stop into any Tortuga location and get your own case of Coke Zero. Or grab an ice-cold one straight from the cooler. Brought to you by Tortuga Distributors Limited. Coca-Cola, taste the feeling, Cayman.
We think it's time you crossed over to a new vehicle. And with the Toyota Corolla Cross, now at Vance Motors, you have plenty of reasons to make the switch. The crossover body and hybrid engine is a sleek design in a sturdy structure with a spacious interior that opens to extensive cargo space. Stuck in traffic? The high-performance self-charging hybrid system automatically switches between gas and electric vehicle mode, helping you lower both fuel costs and carbon emissions. The Corolla Cross has full LED lighting inside and out, an integrated display audio system with energy monitor, and a dual-zone climate control system to ensure comfort for all. Test drive the new Toyota Corolla Cross Hybrid today at Vance Motors, Walkers Road.
JN money touchdown. Send the money now, reach wow. You say you need some money, JN Money, I can send it in a hurry. Get through quick when you come collect your cash, or use a money card and swipe it in a flash. Send funds to any bank, yeah. Pay your bills quick, yeah. Low fees, you know what it, yeah. JN Money, we are pick, yeah. Send and receive funds at any JN Money location. It's fast, affordable, and convenient. Money touchdown with JN Money. Send funds to any bank, yeah. Pay your bills quick, yeah. Low fees, you know what it, yeah. JN Money, we are pick, yeah.
Call 345-945-2014 for details. Available at JN Money locations across the Cayman Islands.
West Bay, home to Barkas National Park, the touristy flair, a family community, a political powerhouse. From sports enthusiasts to car aficionados, affection for silver thatch rope. No matter how far you may venture, West Bay will always be where the heart is. Home will always be in West Bay. West Bay Pharmacy, caring for your home and your family. West Bay Pharmacy in Centennial Towers. Convenient, quality care is just around the corner.
With costs and insecurities rising, staying grounded and focused is what your family needs. Life insurance covers your family and mortgage protection. Peace of mind is mental health awareness.
Life insurance, the sure way to protect your family. I'm Michael Webster. Don't take chances with your family's future or your valuable assets. Cayman Insurance Center, protecting you and your family so you can take back your future. I'm Michael Webster. Let's discuss your peace of mind today. Call me at 925-5433. Think life insurance.
System 1 loaded.
1-800-534-8255. What is on your mind when it comes to the government, independence, and the opposition? Issues that matter to you. 1-800-534-8255. Waiting to hear from you. For the Record.
This is For the Record with Orrett Connor.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. No guest in the studio yet, but I can tell you that Minister Kenneth Bryan will be in the studio with us after the 8 o'clock news. So that will be around about between 8:15 and 8:20. And some of the topics that he will be discussing are public transportation system, as well as the 7 Mile Beach vending policy. So those are two of the topics that he will be discussing here on For the Record. So if you have any questions or observations, bearing in mind that we will have limited time on phone calls as well, please feel free to email us at For the Record, one word, For the Record at candw.ky. WhatsApp us 925-3261 if you have any questions or comments. If you have comments and you want me to relay them to the minister or to any guests who's on the studio, if what you want me to relay has to be or should be in a format where it is not insulting, where it is not derogatory. Otherwise, I'm going to simply ignore it and not read it out. I won't put myself in that position. Yes, we want you to be critical, but we want you to be constructive when you criticize as well. Let's go to the phone lines. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record. Good morning, caller. Welcome to For the Record.
Thanks. Good morning.
Good morning.
This is Carrie. I just hope everybody is well and getting themselves ready for Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, I'm calling on two things. First thing is in relation to LCCLs and the fact that Minister Jay was bringing a motion to modernize that system that we have in our country and to make it more beneficial for us Caymanians to be part of it. As it is now, anyone can walk ashore and get an LCCL and develop and do whatever, and we're not, there's no participation from us whatsoever.
Well, that's in general terms. I believe that there was, unless it has been removed, that there was a provision in there that you have to advertise for local participation in order for you to be able to even qualify for consideration. So you first have to advertise for local participation. If you are unable to get that local participation, then that sort of paves the way for you to apply. Not saying that it's because it's not automatic, but for you to apply for a local company's control license.
Well, fair enough. That was originally the requirement.
Yeah.
Years ago, remember, we saw it in the newspapers seeking Caymanian participation. But in the absence of that, then you do get your LCCL, because once you can afford it, and it's very cheap, it's only $2,500 for it, and I think that's a joke. Because if you're coming into this country to do a major inward investment, and it's going to benefit you more than it's going to benefit the country, as we've seen with a lot of the developments, our people can't even afford to buy any of them, then you should have to pay something like $2.5 million or more than that in a fee to get an LCCL when there's no Caymanian participation. And furthermore, we should not have it that if in the absence of Caymanian participation, it shouldn't matter what the Caymanian participation is, even if it's just by name and nationality alone, that should qualify as well. That gives Caymanians the opportunity to be part of something and to thrive and to also benefit from it using their name and nationality in their own country while someone is coming in here to develop it. And I hear the foolishness that, oh, well, they're not going to come. Really? Who's not going to come here? We are still the safest country in the world or in this hemisphere to begin with, and we're still very wealthy because of all of this inward development. And if we're that safe, people aren't going to go somewhere else where they'll be held for ransom, kidnapping their children, held for ransom. That wouldn't be happening, and it ain't happening here. And those inward developers know that, and that's why they're developing here, because families are moving here to raise their children here because it is safe, according to the governor, unless he lied to us that we're not safe. So
if I could put some perspective to the LCCL thing, the original intention in 1972, we were seeking to attract investment in the Cayman Islands. That local companies control license, trade and business license, immigration law all came in 1972, seeking to attract investment into the Cayman Islands. But those local companies control license were designed for persons to come in with new businesses, not to compete against established businesses in the Cayman Islands. So now we see, for instance, at one point in time, Caymanians were in control when it came to building and owning condominiums and apartments and stuff like that. We have allowed local companies to obtain license, and as a result of that, compete against the established companies. So it has outgrown its use. It has, and I'm going to use this word, I might get kicked off the air for it, but the local companies control law has been bastardized.
It has been. You're absolutely right. And it's sad to see that our heads, our leaders, have squashed the motion of Minister J to bring it to make it, to improve it, to modernize it, and assist Caymanians in becoming party to that as well. We mightn't have $1 million investment to put in it, but like I say, our name and our nationality goes a long way, and that should be the only requirement in order for you to, say, oh, we can't find Caymanians. No, you have to find a Caymanian.
Caller, I'm going to have to cut you there because we've reached the top of the hour, the 8 o'clock news, folks. Please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back immediately after the 8 o'clock news.
Studio time now by Price Right is 8 o'clock.
Woohoo! It's out!
What's that?
Price Right has released their Black Friday deals, and it's always their biggest sale of the year.
Let's see. They've got homewares, kitchen appliances, toys, and groceries all on sale, and they have huge deals on Samsung and LG TVs.
This year, they even have a range of bikes, including an electric bike, all on sale.
Perfect. Just in time for Christmas.
The once-a-year sale kicks off this Friday at 5 a.m. at both Price Right locations. Head to priceright.ky for more info.
Live better for less. This Black Friday at Price Right.
The voice of the Cayman Islands.
89.9 FM in Grand Cayman and 93.9 FM in Cayman Brac and Little Cayman.
Silver wings shining in the sunlight.
Radio Cayman.
The 8 a.m. news is brought to you by ValueMed Pharmacy. Save time and order your prescription refills online at value-medpharmacy.com. VALU-medpharmacy.com.
For today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands.
With your latest news, I'm Carsley Fuller.
The 63rd session of the Caribbean Meteorological Council will be hosted by the Cayman Islands government tomorrow and Friday in Georgetown. The council will focus on enhancing the capability of CMO member states to deliver authoritative, accessible, user-oriented information and services, and to ensure a sustainable observation network to underpin those. National meteorological and hydrometeorological services are key to the implementation of Early Warnings for All, which is a global initiative for climate change adaptation. It's called for by the United Nations Secretary General to be implemented in the next 5 years. The council will guide the development of weather, climate, and water-related services and activities in the region and provide feedback to the organs of the CMO on their plans for supporting proactive and sustainable services. It's a first for a new hospitality training program.
You are the ones who will help to ensure that guests to our islands have a great experience and return home with memories that will stay with them for a lifetime. Always extend our spirit of Cayman kind.
Acting Tourism Minister of the Honorable Heather Bodden offered remarks honoring the students at the Darts organization's first ever hospitality training program graduation on Monday. 12 young men and women successfully completed the 3-month program, which included hands-on experiences at the Hampton by Hilton, the Kimpton Seafire, and the Ritz-Carlton. And a special event is taking place on Friday to discuss the crisis of boys in education, masculinity and health, mentorship, and the socialization of boys. In a promotional video, the Family Resource Center is inviting everyone to consider joining them for their State of Men and Boys Forum on Friday.
Happy International Men's Day! You can register by emailing us at frc@gov.ky or giving us a call at 949-0006. We look forward to seeing you on Friday. Be there.
It all starts at 9:30 a.m. at the Marriott as part of the FRC's International Men's Day 2022 campaign. In regional news, the French Caribbean island of Guadeloupe is fighting what it calls a large-scale cyber attack on its computer networks. The government is working with an unidentified specialized firm to limit the consequences of the attack as it tries to restore its systems as soon as possible. An announcement warning of the attack remained posted on the government's main website on Tuesday. It wasn't immediately clear if the hackers were demanding a ransom and what government services might be affected. A spokesperson for the government did not immediately respond to an email asking for comment. Now with a check of international news, here's the BBC, which will take us out of the newscast. I'm Karsley Fuller from Radio Cayman's newsroom.
BBC News. Britain's Supreme Court has ruled that Scotland's government does not have the right to hold another vote on independence. Scotland's First Minister, Nicola Sturgeon, says she's disappointed with the decision. Explosions at separate Jerusalem bus stops have left a teenage boy dead. Police say the city's not seen such a coordinated attack for years. Ukraine's president says Russia has again used terror tactics to try to achieve what it can't on the battlefield. Volodymyr Zelensky spoke after a missile hit a Ukrainian hospital, killing a newborn baby. In the past few minutes, air raid sirens have sounded in Kiev. Explosions have been reported. The European Parliament has passed a measure that recognises Russia as a state sponsor of terrorism. The move received overwhelming approval. There's been a security sweep at Ukraine's famous monastery in Kiev. Religious buildings are the focus of a probe into possible Russian subversion. Turkey's president says recent army attacks on Syrian Kurdish targets are only a beginning. He said Turkey's determination to secure the border was stronger than ever. There's been a second mass shooting in 4 days in the US. 7 people were shot dead at a Walmart supermarket in Virginia. The firm that runs the world's largest iPhone factory in China has confirmed violent protests took place there. Foxconn denies claims it's delayed paying workers. The US Commission on International Religious Freedom says India continues to enforce policies hostile towards religious minorities. It said it was alarmed by an Indian crackdown on dissent. Sri Lanka's president says he won't permit any mass protests, calling for the government's overthrow. Ranil Wickremesinghe said in such a scenario he would declare an emergency and send in troops. And new banknotes are being launched in Nigeria today. The move is part of the fight against counterfeiters who fund Islamist militants. That's the world news from the BBC.
The 8 a.m. news is brought to you by ValueMed Pharmacy. Save time and order your prescription refills online at value-medpharmacy.com. VALU-medpharmacy.com.
Now, more than ever, supporting your immune system is crucial to helping your body fight off illnesses like the common cold, the flu, and COVID-19. At ValueMed Pharmacy on Walkers Road and in Bordentown, we carry all the essential vitamins and minerals to help support your immune system and improve your overall health. Some of our top immunity support picks are vitamin C, vitamin D, zinc, elderberry, and quercetin, or the popular 7-in-1 immunity support. Our pharmacists are always on hand to help guide you and answer any questions. Visit ValueMed Pharmacy on Walkers Road or Bordentown. Live happy, live healthy with ValueMed Pharmacy.
Stay in touch with Radio Cayman for the latest in news and information.
Follow Radio Cayman on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Download the Radio Cayman app or log on to our website, www.radiocayman.gov.ky.
Radio Cayman, your voice, your choice, your radio.
First, there was little. Then there was grand. But just maybe, the best was saved for last. Cayman Brac, the Pirates are coming! Friday, November 25th through the 27th. Friday, Heritage Day and Gimme Story at Spot Bay Community Cove starting at 10 a.m. and kickoff party at 9 p.m. at Coral Isle Club. Saturday continues with a family fun day at Scott's Dock, followed by the boat float parade starting at Buccaneers. Cut to the dock with fireworks show and after party at Tiger Bay Cafe. Sunday finishes with the Pirates Farewell lunch at the Alexander Hotel. They came, they partied, they conquered. Pirates Fest Cayman Brac, November 25th through the 27th.
Healthcare Pharmacy, caring about your health for the past 25 years. Radio Cayman's premier health show.
Alzheimer's and dementia, are they the same disorder?
Yeah, I think that's a very important question.
For the Health of It with Tara Bush.
For the Health of It with Tara Bush.
Is heard on Saturdays at 9:30 a.m. and on Wednesdays at 7 p.m. Brought to you by Healthcare Pharmacy in Grand Harbor, where they care about your health. Transfer and refill your prescription online. Visit healthcarepharmacy.ky or call 947-8900. Healthcare Pharmacy, now with a new and second location in Governor's Square. The new Healthcare Pharmacy in Governor's Square is open Monday to Friday, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. and Saturday, 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. Healthcare Pharmacy, where they care about your health.
The Department of Agriculture would like to advise the public that appointments for Christmas abattoir services should be scheduled by November 30th. This can be done at the main office reception desk on Lottery Road, Bordentown. To learn more about the DOA abattoir services, required information, and delivery dates, visit the Department of Agriculture on Facebook and Instagram or call 947-3090.
The 8:12 a.m. weather report brought to you by CG Britcay, where people come first.
Good morning, everyone. Hello? Hello? Oh, sorry, I was on mute. Okay, I see we have just about everyone, and of course Tom drops off, as per usual. Let's just wait a minute here. He always comes right back, and we're almost ready, and... oh, whoever's dog that is, please go on mute. Why won't it let me share my screen? Okay, looks like we're ready to start.
We're like a video. No technical issues. CG Britcay. Good like that.
Good morning. Let's take a look at the very latest weather report. Current temperature is 82 degrees. Relative humidity is 82%. The barometric pressure is 29.94 inches and falling. The wind is out of the east-northeast at 9 knots. Overnight low temperature was 80 degrees. Synopsis indicate light northeasterly winds and seas expected to continue across the Cayman area over the next few days in association with a weak pressure gradient over the northwest Caribbean. Satellite images show isolated showers around the Cayman area, which are moving towards the west. Now, the forecast for today calling for partly cloudy skies with a 30% chance of showers, and temperatures will be in the upper 80s today. Winds will be east to northeast at 5 to 10 knots, and seas will be slight to moderate with wave heights of 2 to 4 feet. Pretty much the same for tonight, partly cloudy skies with a 30% chance of showers, and temperatures will dip to the mid-70s tonight. Winds will be east to northeast at 5 to 10 knots, and seas will be slight with wave heights of 1 to 3 feet. Today's high tide will occur this morning at 9:28, low tide this afternoon at 3:27, and a high tide again tonight at 8:22. The sun will set this evening at 5:44 and will rise tomorrow morning at 6:39. And the outlook is calling for similar weather conditions through Friday morning.
The 8:12 a.m. weather report Brought to you by CG Britcade, where people come first.
Head east on Cove Road. Sharp left on Church Street. Sharper left. No, your other left. Did I say left? Nope, you missed it. Okay, I'm lost.
With money-saving bundling options for home and motor, we're like a GPS that doesn't steer you wrong. CG Britcade. Good like that.
Let's stop and ask for directions.
The traffic report is brought to you by Subway. Planning a meeting, event, or office celebration? Visit subway.ky to place your catering order today.
Good morning once again. A lot of patience needed this morning as you head to Georgetown. Coming from the east, traffic is extremely heavy on Shamrock Road and coming off of Rex Creighton Boulevard, and busy traffic as well on Linford Pearson Highway. Traffic is busy coming off of Bobby Thompson Way. On Cool Road, traffic is busy heading to Georgetown, and eastbound traffic on Cool Road is moderate. From the West Bay 4-way stop, not looking too bad. As we look to the Esley Tibbetts Highway, traffic busy coming off there, heading towards the Butterfield Roundabout. And continuing on to North Sound Road, traffic is steady. Edward Street, light to moderate traffic flow. As we look to Godfrey Nixon Way and Eastern Avenue, traffic is moderate in both directions. And on Sheridan Road, traffic is moderate. That's what's happening on your roads. Join us again at about 10 minutes after 12 o'clock. We'll give you another traffic report. Have a good morning, and you're going to get there.
From boat days to beach gatherings, leave the catering to Subway. Choose from small and large sandwich platters, double meat wrap platters, and top it off with optional cookie platters for dessert. Or ask about our Subway box to go with the option of 6-inch or foot-long sandwich, 1 cookie, and 1 bag of chips. For all occasions and celebrations, let Subway focus on the food so you can focus on the fun. Visit subway.ky for catering options. Subway. Eat fresh.
The traffic report is brought to you by Subway. Planning a meeting, event, or office celebration? Visit subway.ky to place your catering order today.
Health Services Authority is now offering online payment options for patients. Patients of HSA can now pay their bills, including deposits, towards scheduled services online at payments.hsa.ky. The secure, new online payment system accepts debit or credit cards and is in addition to the available payment options of cash, check, and online bank transfer. For quick, easy, and secure payment directly from your phone or computer, visit HSA's new online payment system at payments.hsa.ky.
A month of Sundays means a very long time. What is a week of Black Fridays? It is 8 days of super savings at A.L. Thompson's beginning Friday, November 18th at 6 a.m. During Black Friday week, you can take advantage of deep discounts on electronics, appliances, home decor, and tools. We invite you to review 8 pages of products in the Black Friday week flyer on althompson.com and to shop at your convenience at A.L. Thompson's, Georgetown.
It's November, and November is Gimme Story. The Cayman National Cultural Foundation presents in your district Gimme Story. 6 evenings of free entertainment for the entire family. November 25th through December 2nd, featuring the best of Cayman's homegrown storytellers. For more details, visit artscayman.org or check us out on Facebook and Instagram at Cayman Culture. Remember, vote Best Fried Fish in each district. Did I mention you get in for free? And we're starting on time. So try so hurry up. Gimme Story. This gonna be good.
For the record with Orrett Connor.
Initiating system. For information that matter. For the record with Orrett Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. Before I introduce my guest this morning, I have a few things to share with you as well. And we're being asked to send birthday greetings to Mr. George Gillette, who will be celebrating his birthday tomorrow. May he live to see many, many more. Best wishes coming from Charlene Pert and family, and also Miss Gwen and Miss Susan. They're asking at some point in time if you could please play, I guess this will be after 10 o'clock, play the Alan Jackson song, The Older I Get, as well. Yes. Yeah. Also, in response to what I was sharing with you, unable to complete because we had to go to the news, and we also had a caller in relation to the decision handed down by the European Court on the issue of beneficial ownership. One of our listeners has said, great news that you just shared on the European Court's decision on beneficial ownership matters that the EU and some G20 countries have been proposing for a while. This EU court decision is sensible and is totally consistent with what the Cayman Islands government and many local commentators on our financial services industry have been saying for the past 10 years. The EU Bill of Rights proposal is totally contrary and incompatible with its own data protection legislation vis-a-vis personal data and rights to privacy. I and other people like Mr. Tony Travers are breathing a sigh of relief this morning. Thank you, European Court. So those were the comments on that. And just to beg your attention as well, okay, I'm going to go ahead and introduce Mr. Brian, Minister Brian, and then I have something that one of our listeners shared with us this morning about the seamen's honoring our seamen and what they were so grateful in terms of what happened. If I can do that, if I can find that, then I won't have to come back to it. So here we go. The person who's written and said, today, as a family, we honor my brother, Ken, who went to sea at the age of 16, crossing the international date line as he was sent to Japan to join a ship. This is a fitting tribute as he now resides in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, and as he prepares for American Thanksgiving, he is more grateful to be recognized. Says, this honor for many West Bears, some of whom lost their lives at sea, is significant. We salute their services today. This was written yesterday because the event took place yesterday evening. So, with all of those comments, it is my pleasure to have in the studio with me Minister Kenneth Bryan, who has responsibility for tourism and transport. And I gave you a little heads up earlier in terms of what he would be talking about as well. So, Minister, good morning. Welcome back to For the Record.
Good morning, OC, and good morning to the listening audience. It's a pleasure to be back on here this morning. And I'm going to start off by saying, the older I get, the better I am. Happy birthday, Mr. Shillette. It's a beautiful song that they want to play for you. Hopefully I can listen to it myself because it's one of my favorite country songs. I'm still a young pup, so to speak, but still love some good old country music. So happy birthday to you. I'm not going to be along with you today this morning, OC, but because I have to be at the Cayman Classic for 9:15,
okay.
Which is at the John Gay Gymnasium. I'm a sponsor, or the Ministry of Tourism, through the People's Money, is a sponsor for this event. And I must say I'm so excited. I was there last night, got a chance to watch some of the games, which is basketball, for those who may not be aware. One of our young and Caymanians, Mr. Colin Anglin, and Coach Voot has put together this Cayman Classics. It's been in action now for a couple of years. Well, it had to take a break through the COVID, but it's a basketball tournament with all the college schools. 8 college schools are on island, and they're showing what quality basketball tournaments look like. Mm-hmm. And I must say I'm so happy to have sponsored it because as a result, the schools have brought so many tourists with them. You know, I remember watching one game last night with Kansas State, and they had like a following of like 100 people there with them. It was really exciting, and it's a good opportunity for our young Caymanian basketball players who had a chance to see what they could be doing with their lives if they put the hard work in. So
Great.
I'm going to do an interview with that afterwards for some of the sports news reporters who are on island. Today, I want to quickly talk about two very important topics, and then I'll listen for the responses from the public on the radio. I know that traffic has been a major topic, and rightfully so, considering what we experienced on Friday. And I know that the whole public would have heard the Premier's comments in respect to his apologies on behalf of the government that the public had to endure such traffic woes in respect to hours and hours and hours in traffic on Friday. Unfortunately, that was due to the road closure downtown and a number of accidents that happened at the same time. And this is what the report has come back to us. But we have been working closely, when I say we, by the leadership of the Premier, been working closely with the police department to ensure that this type of thing doesn't happen again, as well as obviously, rightfully so, we have now put a lot of attention on how we are going to resolve these traffic woes. And I think that it's fair to say that we all recognize it's a multifaceted problem, from the public transportation system, which I am responsible for under my portfolio, to roads, to car importation and policies, to driving licensing requirements and who has them and who doesn't have them, to education on carpooling and all these other factors, all combined together to create the traffic environment that we have today. I am the Minister for Tourism and Transportation, but my categorization of my portfolio responsibilities may be a little bit misleading, because the transport unit falls under me because it has a tourism component. It's a unit that licenses taxis, limousines, water sports, and so forth. Bus drivers. But it also licenses public transport. Now, has always been that that unit falls under the unit of the Minister of Tourism because of the taxi license component and the tour bus component. Ideally, the public transport part would normally be with the minister who has more responsibility for things related to roads like NRA, DVDL, the roads law, and all of these other provisions that is more connected directly to traffic and road infrastructure. The last administration tried to do a transition of that. I don't know if you recall, but the Honourable Moses Colonel, Minister of Tourism, and Honourable Joey Hugh, both had the responsibilities that now I have as Minister for Tourism, and Honourable J.E. Banks has for roads. And throughout that period, you'd have saw where the Honourable Joey Hugh at the time would have taken over some parts of the public transport. He was the one that initiated the park and drive. So technically speaking, even though from a portfolio responsibility, it was under Moses, they were trying to do that transition. So ideally, the transport unit should be split into two. So we're going to have to do that eventually to make it be done right, whereby all the areas of concern that affect traffic and transportation can be under one minister, so they can work together coherently. But in the interim, myself and Honourable J.E. Banks will be working closely to try to have an effect on the traffic situation. So in respect to where my areas of responsibility are right now, the public transport, as I told the public about a year ago, that my intentions were to have a review done on the public transportation system and allow the professionals in the field to tell us exactly what we should be doing. Now, a person may say, well, why do we need the professionals to tell us that when we all know we just need a upgraded public transportation system that is reliable, that is safe, that is efficient, and priced appropriately so people can use it. But there's details behind that needs to be discussed. How do you structure it? Is it going to be a department? Is it going to be an authority? Is it going to be a government-owned company? Is it all going to fall under one umbrella? Does the legislation need to change? What kind of bus system? Do we need some new roads to facilitate it? Are we going to use major public transport on the byways, but what happens in the neighborhoods? All of these questions need to be answered in a structured way to give the government some recommendations. As a result, I put out an RFP for a public transportation consultancy project, which the Deloitte company won. And I'm happy to say that the company that won it also has a Caymanian as the lead, Mr. Terran Jackman, who's a partner at the company. Him and his team with another 5 people are currently going through the process of examination of public transportation in the Cayman Islands in all aspects. Their job will be to talk to all the relevant stakeholders who are affected by this, from the workers, the bus drivers, to our road systems, to tourism, to elderly, safety within the laws, how you're going to restructure the department, and what is the best suggestion to move forward. So they were awarded, after going out to public tender, the contract with Deloitte. And I brought the procurement here with me to give a read so the public can understand where I am as minister with this issue, because I don't want people to think that I'm doing nothing.
Right.
So,
and that includes the TOR for the consultants as well?
Yes,
terms of reference?
terms of reference. So as a result, this has already started. So it's not like I'm waiting for it. It started a month, almost 5 weeks ago, estimated to last for 16 to 18 weeks. And then we will have a document in our hands for government to choose how to resolve this issue in respect to public transportation moving forward. And I say resolve this issue, not saying that the current system isn't workable, it's doing its job, but it's not the best. And most people believe it needs to be changed under one umbrella with a more efficient way of doing things. So I just want to read some of this so you can get an idea as to what to expect.
Sure. Why don't we take the commercial break, and this way we don't have to interrupt you in the middle of that, folks. Please stay tuned. The conversation with Minister Kenneth Bryan will continue after this short commercial break.
First, there was little. Then there was grand. But just maybe, the best was saved for last. Cayman Brac, the Pirates are coming! Friday, November 25th through the 27th. Friday, Heritage Day and Gimme Story at Spot Bay Community Cove starting at 10 a.m. and kickoff party at 9 p.m. at Coraline Club. Saturday continues with a family fun day at Scott's Dock, followed by the boat float parade starting at Buccaneers. Cut to the dock with fireworks show and after party at Tiger Bay Cafe. Sunday finishes with the Pirates farewell lunch at the Alexander Hotel. They came, they partied, they conquered. Pirates Fest Cayman Brac, November 25th through the 27th.
At Doctors Hospital, we know life happens, and usually when you least expect it. So when unexpected medical issues arise, you need quality care close to home. Located in the heart of Georgetown, our accomplished team of physicians and medical staff treat minor urgent conditions such as migraines, chest and abdominal pain, shortness of breath, burns, broken bones, open wounds, and more. 24 hours, 7 days a week with no appointment necessary. Peace of mind is important when life happens. At Doctors Hospital, we're always here just for you. Need to speak to someone? Call 949-6066.
We think it's time you crossed over to a new vehicle. And with the Toyota Corolla Cross, now at Vamp Motors, you have plenty of reasons to make the switch. The crossover body and hybrid engine is a sleek design in a sturdy structure with a spacious interior that opens to extensive cargo space. Stuck in traffic? The high-performance self-charging hybrid system automatically switches between gas and electric vehicle mode, helping you lower both fuel costs and carbon emissions. The Corolla Cross has full LED lighting inside and out, an integrated display audio system with energy monitor, and a dual-zone climate control system to ensure comfort for all. Test drive the new Toyota Corolla Cross Hybrid today at Vamp Motors, Walkers Road.
At Kirk's Home Center, we can make your life much better. We got it all together. We got a great deal in store for you. From cookware to stereos, from power tools to plumbing supplies. Yeah, we got the best goods with the best price.
The Department of Agriculture, in collaboration with Hazard Management, Cayman Islands, invites the public to attend a seminar series on pet and large animal disaster and emergency preparedness. 2 seminars are available. The Pet Emergency Preparedness Seminar on Tuesday, the 22nd of November, from 6:30 p.m. to 8 p.m. at the Red Cross Shelter on Huldah Avenue, Georgetown, and the Large Animal Emergency Preparedness Seminar on Wednesday, 23rd of November at 6:30 p.m. to 8 p.m. at the Seafarers Hall, Victory Avenue, Prospect. To register, visit DOA's and HMCI's Facebook and Instagram pages at Agriculture Cayman and at Cayman Prepared.
System 1 loaded.
1-800-534-8255. What is on your mind when it comes to the government, independence, and the opposition? Issues that matter to you. 1-800-534-8255. Waiting to hear from you. For the Record.
This is For the Record with Orrett Connor.
Good morning. Welcome back to For the Record. In the studio with me, Minister Kenneth Bryan. Minister, I believe you covered this already, but before you start to read the agreement.
Yes.
There, the person wanted to know why didn't the government join the subjects of roads and local transports within the same ministry? And you pointed out before that it had been split before, and it's something that still needs to be resolved.
Yes. Just to quickly cover that, the main reason is that under the public transportation unit, the major area is the licensing of taxis and tour operators and limousines and water sports operations. And then the other part is the public transportation system. And it's just been traditional because of the use of the employees there because there's many components of the same kind of work to manage them why they've been under one unit. Mm-hmm. But the author of that text is correct. It should be split. And I think that past administration and this administration recognize that, and we're going to have to do a process of splitting that. But that doesn't mean that myself as minister responsible for that unit and the minister responsible for roads can't work together. We have to, regardless of whether they're split, figure out ways to work together. So I think what I'm doing with this public transportation consultancy project will help inform the government, because we have to make the decision together on where we're going with public transport, while the other minister, Honorable J.E. Banks, focuses on the infrastructure of roads and feasibility of flow-through traffic in the various different areas. So there's nothing wrong with us working together, but I'm certain that if there is opportunity where the workload can be balanced out, maybe the public transportation system could be passed over to him. I don't want to add any more work to his ever-growing pile, but ideally it would be best under him. But for now, we're going to figure this out together as a team. So before we went to the break, I was just telling the public about this public transportation consultancy project that has been awarded to Deloitte & Touche. Deloitte's, they're no longer Deloitte & Touche. It's just Deloitte's now. And the lead on it, the lead partner, is Mr. Tyron Jackman, who's a Caymanian, one of our own, to lead it. So I'm very happy about that. And he has a strong team of people there basically doing a review of our system from top to bottom and then make some recommendations. And I'm going to read out what we've asked them to do by way of deliverables and so forth. Yep. Mm-hmm. So it says, as a strategic goal of the Public Transport Board is to integrate the existing infrastructure with the advancing technology to create an effective national public transport system. We are inviting consultancy companies with the technical expertise to guide and provide sound technical advice on the reformation of the Cayman Islands public transport system. So that was the basis of the RFP in the start. The aim is to provide more reliable service and be a supporting solution to the long-term traffic congestion issue. Under the procurement particulars, the deliverables are reviewing the current public bus system, B, making recommendations on strategy to transition to a national government-run public bus system, and examining how to transition the current omnibus service to community-based service that may continue, and I say may, continue to operate as an entrepreneurial but however, not on the mainstream roadways. So when I was creating this by way of policy through my ministry, I did not want to exclude the omnibus because they could possibly operate in more than the community. So if you think about the main arterial going up and down West Bay Road, a big major bus, reliable bus, government-run bus, may not operate in the small little roads in West Bay. So we wanted the report to be able to examine a combination approach with omnibus being independent, running like that, or a full service where government runs the main arterials and the neighborhoods. And the reason I asked for that is, it's not only the sizes of the buses that's a concern, it's the operation under one umbrella. Because when you have individual bus drivers, then you have almost individual brands of behavior. You want it all under one umbrella, where if you're working for a company or a government agency or authority or department, all the rules and regulations, when you get on one bus, you can expect the same thing when you get on another. Now, you may get on one bus today and say, oh, this driver is very safe, very polite, very efficient. And then you get another bus, and then drivers driving all over the road, crazy, all kind of foolish music in the car, those types of things. You want to streamline the expectation of your bus service. So that's why I said examine it, but that doesn't mean we're going to keep it, right? All right, continuing on with the deliverables. Offering a restructuring solution to the pillars within the public transport unit on how to better manage this sector. One being the public buses, two being tourism-related transportation such as taxi, tour, water sports, and limousines, and three, offer organizational structure recommendations for a more efficient unit. Meaning, right now, some of the complaints that we get with the transport unit is they cannot enforce the law. Sometimes you see bus drivers behaving a certain way and people go, why you don't go down there and take away their license? Actually, the reason they can't do that is because there's not enough teeth within the transport law. Traffic-related matters actually fall under the police department. So to be honest with you, sometimes the transport unit gets a lot of negative blows, and it's not because they don't want to do something, they just can't. Actually, you got to go through like 3 warnings before you can even take away a bus driver's license for inappropriate behavior, and even after that they can appeal it. So it's like one of those immigration things, you probably keep on appealing because they want to stay longer. So that's why in this deliverables, I've asked them to re-examine the regulation and legislation as well to make sure it's more effective, so policing, that you can hold the systems and the drivers accountable. Continuing on, it says the review of the current public bus system should. The business objective is reviewing the current public bus system in order to identify areas of improvement that will be in line with the reformation of the system as we transfer to a government public-run system. Also to highlight what we are doing efficiently and effectively that may not be changed. Deliverable descriptions are the deliverables should be a high-quality review with professional report detailing and the findings and recommendations to government to transition the current system from the government, into the system that the government would like to see. And I've had to sit down with the Deloitte partners to explain exactly where we see the vision, which is one, a renewably fueled, or just let's call it an electric bus. Ideally, that's what we would like, depending on the costs, so we can protect our environment. Run under one umbrella, whether it's being done by a PPP, mean public-private sector partnership, or solely government, whether that be a department, a single department, like say, for instance, give you an example, what department? Trying to think of one now. Or an authority, let's say it's Public Works Authority or Port Authority. It could be under an authority run with different rules and regulations, or we can just sub it out to contract where a company does it with certain criteria that we expect from them and by way of deliverables, and we just pay them to do it. We can do it in many different ways. This report will also examine those things to explain to us what we need. Also, the report will have to figure out what our infrastructure availability is by way of delivering a public transportation system. When you think about the public bus system right now, nobody recognizes some main things. The reason we don't have a bus hub to hold buses is because each one of the bus drivers are owners. So at the end of the night, they all go home and they have a parking space at home. Now you think about all the parking space that takes up for all of those buses. If you were to say, if it was a government run now, all of those buses have to be held at one spot. So a hub so to speak, and that means you need land. So where would the hub be in Georgetown or in West Bay? And you may need more than one to go back and forth to the hubs, potentially 3, one in the eastern side of the island, one in West Bay, and one in town, so they can have the main spots stopping all the way down. Also, the byways of the roads, which means a lot of land acquisition and potential legal disputes, because you may find that you need to have a bus stop somewhere to make it safe, but there's a landowner there and you have to compulsory acquire it. You know how long cases like that can take. So what we're trying to do is figure out within the current road structure now how that can happen, and make sure the NRA moving forward understands that there has to be a certain amount of stops with every new road that they do, to bear in mind how the public transportation system will be going forward. So this report expects to examine all of those factors plus more, which I haven't covered yet, that once we have the recommendations of it, there's financial components associated with that. Just think about, we may need about 20 buses to service the routes that we have, at least the main arterials, that can hold about 40 to 50 people in each bus. How much is an electric bus cost? And our estimates were like about $300,000 a pop. You're going to need to build the infrastructure also for the charging of these vehicles. How are we going to charge it? Are we going to charge it just getting electricity from CUC? It makes no sense, because you're not doing what you actually intended to do, which is to be environmentally friendly. You're just not burning it in fuel. You just burn it at CUC. So does that mean that we have to put a solar panel system in place in order to get the energy through the natural way? Sorry, I didn't realize I still had my earpiece in my ear. So all of these things we have to think about, and it also comes with financial ramifications, which is what I've been saying for quite some time, that my intention is to have this report, have the recommendations, have government consider, and then when we come for the new budget, which those discussions are going to start happening in October of next year, which is about 10 months away from now, to say where are we by way of finances? Has our economy come back? Can we afford potentially something that could be costing us between $20 to $30 million to implement a properly structured system that is running efficiently, that is cost effective, reliable, and safe, because that's the expectation the public wants from us. So we want to make sure that the technocrats and the persons who have the technical expertise to look at all areas that will be affected by this public transportation system, looks at it, understands what the government's vision is, and give us recommendations so we can choose from. We go out to the public right after the report and say, here, listen, this is what they have said, this is the best way to do it. It may take X amount of time to do so. Give us the support to go forward. And once that's done, you go to the budgeting process, you get the funding support, and hopefully we will be in a financial position by the end of this next year, 2023, that I can justify saying to my colleagues, out of the almost $1 billion budget, I need, say hypothetically speaking, $30 million out of it so I can fix this problem. And I think the only good news about the bad traffic today is that I don't think that I should get much pushback to ask for the money, because they know the public wants this to change.
Yes.
So that's
something to happen. Yeah?
Exactly. And I don't want to belabor the point much longer as to the details. I'm happy to make this document available to the public now that the agency has been selected, so you can know what the full criteria of expectations of their report should be, rather than me going through the details. But I want the public to know that something is happening. It's not like we're just seeing the traffic and not doing anything about it. At least within the areas of responsibility that I have, I've initiated this process from a year ago. It's just unfortunately that there is a long process that has to happen, and this is what people talk about, the bureaucracy within the system and within the civil service, I dare say, and I want to be very light with what I say civil service. What I mean is there's a number of steps that's necessary that is required by the auditing process, where they go, you have to do this the right way, as opposed to the quick way. And sadly, the reality is the public wants answers now. But if I circumvent those processes, then I'll be accused in another line to say you didn't do this the right way. So we're trying to do it the right way. There's one other point before we go to the break that I want to say, that before this all started, I asked the governor to ask for a secondment from the public transportation headquarters in the UK, because of their very reliable and historically well-run public transportation system to ask for at least one major head to help us deliver this. Good news is in cabinet, the governor has said we have found 2 individuals. It's up to us to pick that person. That person will come and work within my ministry separately and apart from all the rest of the other responsibilities, solely to focus on the public transportation system. That person will take this report, go through it, and create the policy upon which government will deliver and say to us, okay, what things we need to do, which areas of legislation, work with the legal department, the drafting department to get those pieces of legislation changed, and then work with me as minister to find to create the budgeting necessary that we can strategically go at this in a holistic way to have it finished. Okay. So we'll have some not only legal report to suggest what we need to do, but also a legal technical professional who's been in the industry or in the transportation system from a proven service in the UK here to help us deliverable. So I know it's not an answer right away, but we're well on our way, and we should be able to give you a clearer picture within the next month and a half after this report is completed.
Excellent. Folks, we're going to take a commercial break. When we return, the conversation with Minister Kenneth Bryan will continue, so please stay tuned.
So much happening so fast, too much. It is hard for me to follow my healthcare instructions. The private counseling with West Bay Pharmacy literally saved my life.
At West Bay Pharmacy, we know how complex medications can be. Our pharmacists are delighted to offer you personalized one-on-one healthcare counseling, free medication review, therapeutic callbacks, and we will liaise with your physician to ensure you receive the best in quality medical care.
Quality of life has a whole new meaning with the right pharmacy to support you. Thank you, West Bay Pharmacy.
West Bay Pharmacy in Centennial Towers. Convenient quality care is just around the corner. Now you can WhatsApp your West Bay Pharmacy prescriptions to 516-0777.
First, there was little. Then there was grand. But just maybe, the best was saved for last. Cayman Brac, the Pirates are coming! Friday, November 25th through the 27th. Friday, Heritage Day and Gimme Story at Spot Bay Community Cove starting at 10 a.m. and kickoff party at 9 p.m. at Coral Isle Club. Saturday continues with a family fun day at Scott's Dock, followed by the boat float parade starting at Buccaneers. Cut to the dock with fireworks show and after party at Tiger Bay Cafe. Sunday finishes with the Pirates Farewell lunch at the Alexander Hotel. They came, they partied, they conquered. Pirates Fest Cayman Brac, November 25th through the 27th.
Black Friday low price specials have started at Brand Source Home Gallery. Save on selected gas and electric laundry centers and laundry pairs. GE 27-inch gas laundry center only $1,199 and the electric $1,399. GE 24-inch front load laundry pair $1,879. Save up to $700 with special Black Friday prices. Now is the opportunity to replace the old laundry and save big. Hurry, limited quantities and these low prices end Saturday the 26th. Visit Brand Source Home Gallery at 209 Dorsey Drive in Industrial Park or call 623-5000 for details.
Kirk Freeport's Black Friday weekend is back in their 50th year with the biggest Cayman sale of the year. Kirk Freeport Black Weekend deals are available from Thursday 24th to Monday 28th in all stores, with the biggest deals of all at a special reopening of Kirk Freeport on Cardinal Avenue on Friday and Saturday only, with up to 75% off all clearance jewelry and watches. From Thursday to Monday, you will find deals at La Perfumery and Strand locations, and you'll get 50th anniversary sweepstake entries on all purchases over $100. The 50th anniversary Black Friday weekend is our biggest yet. KirkFreeport.com for details.
After more than 20 years, the Cayman Islands Air Show is back. It's all eyes to the sky on Saturday, December 3rd for a thrilling air show on 7 Mile Public Beach. Witness amazing aerobatic maneuvers as world-class pilots put on a stunning show. Then see the planes and meet the aviators at the Island Air Hangar. Parking permitted at designated sites with free shuttle buses to the events. For all the details and event lineup, visit CaymanAirShow.com. The Cayman Islands Air Show returns Saturday, December 3rd, 10 a.m. at 7 Mile Public Beach and 3 p.m. at the Island Air Hangar.
This is an extraordinary Black Friday at Tomlinson Furniture in the Mattress Gallery. 2 days only, Friday the 25th and Saturday the 26th of November. Huge savings on everything in stock, up to 50% off, plus free giveaways. This is the largest sale of the year, the perfect time to replace your mattress, buy your bedroom set, sofas, and anything you need for the home. The Black Friday sale at Tomlinson Furniture is where you get the best deals in town, with up to 50% off and free giveaways this Friday the 25th and Saturday the 26th of November. You have to hurry, it's while supplies last. Tomlinson Building, corner of Walkers and Hospital Road.
For the record, with Orrett Connor.
Initiating system. For information that matters. For the record, with Orrett Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning. Welcome back to For the Record. In the studio with me, Minister Kenneth Bryan, and he has to leave us at 9 o'clock. So, Minister, have one WhatsApp question and comment. The person wanted to know whether or not, they had two questions. Can the minister say whether the RFP is the same one that Minister Joe Yu had in place to go out after the election? And the second one was, can the minister say why he previously said there was no need for a formal consultation on transport and he would implement a version of the Barbados bus system here? And then their comment is, whatever the reason that he changed his mind, the minister is now on the right path, as the country is better served with a review that provides a public transport solution suitable for Cayman and is forward-thinking. Hopefully the terms of reference is broad enough that it will not only look at buses but other options also.
Thank you so much, OC, for that, and the author for their questions. I think there's a bit of assumptions there, because I have never said that I will not do a review of the current system. I did say that I liked the model in Barbados, and we don't have to reinvent the wheel. But there is the technicalities that you need the support from. Now, as I said before, when I first started this conversation, I think everybody knows what we want. How to implement it has to come from the technocrats who look at all the variables involved and give you the recommendations how to fix the different areas of the system to make it all work cohesively. And that's what this report is about. So this report is going to be ultimately, in my humble opinion, going to come back with exactly what I think I suggested many moons ago, which is quite similar to the model in Barbados and many other Caribbean countries for that fact, which is a public transportation system using renewable energy, operating all under one umbrella rather than the individual approach, with a structured system of usage of the public roads and changing of legislation to make it mandatory on other transport-related matters, like, say, for instance, car usage and taxes, to encourage people to use public transport. So that's the common area. That's what everybody knows. But how that is done is why this report is done. I'm not aware of the former minister having any report. None was presented to me by the ministry staff that was there. And bearing in mind, the Honorable
I don't think it wasn't a report, RFP. Well,
I didn't see any RFP. And remember now, I'm the Minister for Tourism. He was the Minister for Roads. So whether he did one over there or not, the Honourable Minister who's in charge now, Jay, has not presented that to me. I don't think that he would have probably said something to me if he was made aware of that. But I don't think it matters so much, even if he did have one, and hopefully that if he had one, my one covers all areas. One part that I think is important for me to highlight is that I've instructed Deloitte to ensure that they speak to the opposition so the opposition can give their input. As much as we are on different sides of the fence, we're all in this together. So I'm not going to assume that I know everything, and neither should Deloitte or anybody else for that fact. So I've asked them to reach out to the leader of opposition to say, would they want to give their input into what they think the better solutions should be, so it can all be factored in together, so that we can have a solution, and that, God forbid, if things change, that the opposition is in charge next time around, that they can feel that they were a part of a solution that we're all going to decide on. So there's some times when you can disagree, but sometimes we have to stick together on stuff. So they're going to have their say in respect to this report, at least for Deloitte to have their input considered, and then in the recommendations, they would have said, okay, we factored in what the opposition said, what the government said, what the stakeholders in the industry have said, and here's our recommendations.
Okay, here's another quick one for you. This person says that they believe that you say that it would take about 10 months before any implementation of the recommendations that would be made and accepted by Deloitte. Said if this is correct, an interim plan is needed immediately to bring some relief. Perhaps the government could look into or consider incentive programs that encourage users to carpool and employers to stagger work hours.
Correct. And thank you for the person who made the author of that message. It is something the government is considering at this particular point. By way of one of the things that was recognized is the process that was being used before with this kind of bus service around town where you can park somewhere else is being reconsidered to be something can be in use until we have the full approach. Also, I'm happy to announce that the government is strongly considering now to quickly come up with a policy to affect the car importations with limits on ages because we're having too much cars being imported at the same at every month. There's like an estimated 300 cars per month. And at that rate, things, not only does it affect our environment from the derelict vehicles around, but it also puts pressure on the roads. But the biggest thing is that you want to make sure you have a reliable bus service before you put the pressure on people to mandate them or incentivize them to take the bus service. Because what if I said to you, listen, I'm going to make it a little bit more expensive, difficult for you to take a car because we want you to take the public bus. But then when you get up in the morning, you get on the bus and you hear big bad words, this and that on the public bus, and a bus driver is driving like a madman going down the road. They're not under any formulation of structure and discipline. They're not uniform. They're not reliable. And then you can't get to work. And then they say, what kind of nonsense is the government has forced me to take the bus service, but it's not reliable, it's not efficient, it's not cost effective. So this is the problem that we have. I'm not trying to take away job opportunities from the public bus system, but we all know that what is currently happening with the local buses is just unacceptable. Yeah. So that's what we're trying to get to now, to say, here's what it's going to be acceptable to the public. Here's what's going to be reliable. Here's what's going to be cost effective. We're going to implement it. And now you, the public, we can put in policies to say, all right, you don't have an excuse anymore. You can take something that is safe, reliable, and cost effective to relieve the traffic on the roads. Anyway, so I know we have to go to the next break, but I want to quickly say, I'm going to beg you for overage here because I got to run.
Okay.
The public beach matter. The government finally has this 44-page draft policy on what's going to happen at the public beach. And this has been done by the Ministry of Lands by the Honourable Minister Juliana Corner-Conley. We as a government have been given it on the start of this week, and every elected member has to review it to see whether it's something we're going to accept. It outlines how it would work, what regulations, the regime for licensing, and who they would have to appeal to get the license, what happens if they disobey the rules, where they can be, what kind of operations, all of those factors is in this. So each one of us as members have to look at this and then come back and agree to it or not to agree with it, and to give the public an answer. We are going to be in Parliament the first week of December, so I'm certain that you will hear a clear direction as to what will happen at the public beach.
That's the 7th of December, right?
7th of December. At least that's the last date that was given by the Honourable Premier, and I expect to be able to potentially say something from the tourism perspective at that location by Parliament sitting as to the government's full decision.
Quick one, will we have a speaker and a deputy speaker?
Yes, we will. I don't think it's my place to announce, but I'm quite sure if you reach out to the Honourable Premier, he can give you some good news in respect to the Speaker's position by as early as Friday.
Okay.
So I don't want to take away that area of responsibility of announcements. I am the minister, and it would be inappropriate.
Sure. No, understood.
So,
I had to ask the question.
No problem. But I know that the decision has been made, and we are ready to roll. And hopefully by Friday, this situation about speakership shall no longer be an issue. We'll have a speaker, a deputy speaker, and some other minor changes just to fill the voids of where moving parts had to be done. The cleanup exercise, so to speak.
Okay.
But we are well on the way to full resolve in that respect before Parliament starts on the 7th of December.
Excellent. Minister, thank you very much for being here. Short period, but we got a lot in during that period of time as well.
If you don't mind, I just got my big boss Moose just said that I must make sure to highlight that to all my people of Georgetown Central. He's my political advisor in the background. So I want to say a special good morning to all my people in Georgetown Central. I love you. God bless you. I hope you have a wonderful day. I'm trying my best to work very, very hard for you every day. Don't forget to try to come out and watch the basketball classics at the John Gray Gymnasium if you can. Tonight is the last final night with some great, amazing games. It's been sponsored by my ministry, and I think you would enjoy it, particularly for the young people who are out there who want to find a sport to keep them focused rather than being distracted on the many things that are happening in this world today. God bless you all. Take care. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Folks, top of the hour, headline news, 9 o'clock. Please stay tuned. When we return, we will have the lines open for you to call in as well, and we will talk some more about this whole issue of beneficial ownership and the decision of the European Court as well. So please stay tuned.
Today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman.
Your voice, your choice.
Local, regional, international. This is Headlines from Radio Cayman's newsroom.
Today's biggest news.
Sunrise Adult Training Center clients took Cayman to Agrabah recently during their annual musical review featuring Aladdin at the Harkwell Theater. Family, friends, and staff of Sunrise watched the annual performance, and clients also sold custom-made crafts after the show. 7 people, including the gunman, have died in a shooting at a Walmart supermarket in Chesapeake, Virginia. A man believed to have been the store manager opened fire and killed 6 people before reportedly turning the gun on himself. At least 5 people are being treated for their injuries at a local hospital. The city's mayor says he's, quote, devastated by the senseless act of violence, while the state senator says she's, quote, absolutely heartbroken. Walmart also says it's, quote, shocked by this tragic event. And fresh strikes have been reported in the Ukrainian capital city, Kyiv. The head of the wider region said critical infrastructure and residential buildings had been hit. Earlier, an air raid alert was issued across Ukraine amid reports of explosions in a number of locations. Those are your headlines. I'm Karsley Fuller.
For the latest in news and information,
follow Radio Cayman on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Download the Radio Cayman app or log on to our website, radiocayman.gov.ky.
For the record, with Orrett Connor.
Initiating system.
For information that matter. For the record, with Orrett Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. Minister Bryan is no longer in the studio, and unfortunately we didn't take any calls because he had a short time to cover those 2 areas that he wanted to cover. But he certainly will have, and he's pointed out that he will have his radio on in his vehicle as he goes from point A to point B. And he will be listening in if you have any questions or suggestions or comments as well. I do believe we have a caller, so let's go to the phone lines. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning, O.C.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm good. I was hoping to get through while the minister was on, but I understand the situation.
Mm-hmm.
I do want to give him kudos to his mentality about reaching out to the opposition for them to also display their views on the report that he's working on. But OC, I had a pleasure. I don't know if it was a pleasure. It didn't turn into pleasure after I got there, and on the return was to go and pick up our good friend Alan Moore from his residence in Prospect yesterday morning.
Mm-hmm. That would be more of a displeasure rather than a pleasure then, right?
Right. So it took us 1 hour and 8 minutes to get from his residence to his office in the admin building. 1 hour and 8 minutes.
And that is probably about what, 4 point something miles or 5 miles?
Right.
No more than 5 miles.
Right. And I raising this to say that a lot of blame was placed on the blocking of the road for Pirates Week last weekend. But, I mean, they can't blame that now on road being blocked in town. So, I remember back in the day when Mr. Dave Martin used to bring in the Trinidadian big bands, the road would be actually blocked for the whole entire week from Friday night until the next Saturday. The road would completely block off. You couldn't go through there. They had a huge stage in the middle of the road. So that have always been a part of the Pirates Week festivities. So we cannot blame that on that. It's just plain too many cars on the roads of the Cayman Islands.
Yeah, and much more compared to those days in the 80s and the 90s as well, when you speak about.
Yeah, that is a fact, OC. And we're continuously building roads and looking to build roads. Do you know, I want my good friend Mark Scotland to help me with this. If we can calculate the square footage or square miles of road in the Cayman Islands and parking lot, and compare it to the property that domestic homes and commercial buildings are sitting on. I think we're catering more to cars than we are catering to domestic homes, to dwelling homes and commercial buildings.
Yep.
It is. If you calculate it, well, I guess it would end up being square miles because of So I'm gonna ask Mark to see if he can do that for me and compare the two. It's just too many cars on the island.
Yeah. Lands and Service should have some information in that regard, or have a sort of system that they could manipulate to get that information, I'm sure. Because those are the things that it's data that is important. Just saying, we're building more roads, we have more cars, but when you take those numbers and you say, here is what they are now, here is what it was back when, here's the percentage of growth. If we continue along this path, here's what it is likely to be like, 5-10 years down the road.
But we'll see. You got to remember, you want to 78 square miles.
But which makes it easier for us to predict what what's going to happen when Armageddon is going to be here. Armageddon.
Right. So we either got to go causeway, we got to go bridges, which is very expensive, and I don't really support bridges because we being in a hurricane zone, I'm not too sure about that. But where else can we now build a road if once we do the east-west interior road? Then what's going to happen after that? Where else are we going to put a road? Because there was no actual future planning for major roads. That's why so many homes are being built where they are built.
Yeah.
So that would be a very expensive thing to take on to buy out, especially if you notice in the Hurlers roundabout area. I mean, that is a very, very expensive thing to take on right there. I mean, where are we going to go right there?
Yep.
Where are we going to go? There's nowhere to go.
Nowhere
to go, and we haven't seen the effect of that yet. We got a two complex on one on each side that is about to be open up. So I think we're in serious problem with cars if we don't bite the bullet and eliminate the amount of cars that are being put on the road. That's the only solution. We cannot build ourselves out of traffic.
Yeah,
we cannot.
Well, we talk about the fact that we live in a democracy, whether or not that is a democracy with a big D or a small d. But at some point in time, those in authority, along with consultation with the populace, we have to arrive at a decision in terms of where we want this country to be headed as far as development is concerned, and then implement some rational, sustainable, workable development plans to suit the Cayman Islands and to suit the growth that we are encountering, or address the issue of what do we do about the growth. Some may argue and say, well, if I have money and I want to invest, should the government prevent me from continuing to build? Maybe not. But there are other factors in place, like environmental concerns, zoning and stuff like that, that may inhibit you from doing that. And those are the things that the government has to look at as well.
Yeah, because that's why we have a planning department.
Mm-hmm.
Planning. If we say you can't build at this particular time, then you can't build.
Well, I believe that's a misnomer. The planning department that we have basically is more of a rubber stamp for development. Development, they approve plans. Not to say that decisions are still not made there, but they're basically a rubber stamp for development.
Whatever being submitted, yeah. So whether you follow the procedure or not, or the right, So we gotta bite the bullet, or see and make some serious decisions, whether it might be painful at the beginning or not.
Mm-hmm.
But we have to do that.
Yeah.
You have the old people say you got to crack the egg to make an omelette.
Yeah, and we can endure the pain early, or we can endure it late, and it may be a little bit more painful later on than it is now.
Yeah. All right, we talk later.
Okay, thanks for sharing as well. Folks, let's take that commercial break. And you heard me earlier speak about before the minister came on, about the whole issue of the UK draft order in council, and what this decision by the European Court may, how that may influence this decision. And I believe in order for us to put everything in perspective in relation to the beneficial ownership legislation, we need to know about this draft order in council and why it was put in place by the UK to compel the British Overseas Territories to introduce publicly accessible registers. Please stay tuned. For the record, we'll be back shortly.
JN Money touching down again. Now you can send your US dollars at any location on island, including the BRAC. It's easy. Just walk with your US dollars. No need to convert to CI. This is another convenient service available at JN Money. They always find a way to make it easier and hassle-free. So remember, when you need to send your money and you only have US dollars, don't ever think of what to do. Just head straight to any JN Money location and send your money the fast, convenient, and affordable JN Money. JN Money, touching down again. JN Money, ranga to la friend.
We think it's time you crossed over to a new vehicle. And with the Toyota Corolla Cross, now at Vant Motors, you have plenty of reasons to make the switch. The crossover body and hybrid engine is a sleek design in a sturdy structure with a spacious interior that opens to extensive cargo space. Stuck in traffic? The high-performance self-charging hybrid system automatically switches between gas and electric vehicle mode, helping you lower both fuel costs and carbon emissions. The Corolla Cross has full LED lighting inside and out, an integrated display audio system with energy monitor, and a dual-zone climate control system to ensure comfort for all. Test drive the new Toyota Corolla Cross Hybrid today at Vant Motors, Walkers Road.
West Bay, home to Barkas National Park, the touristy flair, a family community, a political powerhouse. From sports enthusiasts to car aficionados, affection for silver thatch rope. No matter how far you may venture, West Bay will always be where the heart is. Home will always be in West Bay. West Bay Pharmacy, caring for your home and your family. West Bay Pharmacy in Centennial Towers. Convenient, quality care is just around the corner.
Parma Carpet Christmas sale is back, starting Thursday, November 24th through Saturday, November 26th for a full 25 hours of savings with 25% off in stock carpet, 25% off in stock tiles, and 25% off in stock granite slabs. All orders should be collected within 25 hours or storage fees will apply. See in store for terms and conditions. Save big in Parma Carpet pre-Christmas sale from November 24th through November 26th. Located on 317 North Sound Road, Industrial Park. Open Monday to Friday, 7:30 a.m. until 5 p.m. and Saturday, 7:30 a.m. till 2 p.m. Call 949-5000.
We do a whole lot more than just cover your floor at Paramount Carpet.
Black Friday low price specials have started at Brand Source Home Gallery. Save on selected gas and electric laundry centers and laundry pairs. GE 27-inch gas laundry center only $1,199 and the electric $1,399. GE 24-inch front load laundry pair $1,879. Save up to $700 with special Black Friday prices. Now is the opportunity to replace the old laundry and save big. Hurry, limited quantities and these low prices end Saturday the 26th. Visit Brand Source Home Gallery at 209 Dorsey Drive in Industrial Park or call 623-5000 for details.
First, there was little. Then there was grand. But just maybe, the best was saved for last. Cayman Brack, the Pirates are coming! Friday, November 25th through the 27th. Friday, Heritage Day and Gimme Story at Spot Bay Community Cove starting at 10 a.m. and kickoff party at 9 p.m. at Coraline Club. Saturday continues with a family fun day at Scott's Dock, followed by the boat float parade starting at Buccaneers. Cut to the dock with fireworks show and after party at Tiger Bay Cafe. Sunday finishes with the Pirates farewell lunch at the Alexander Hotel. They came, they partied, they conquered. Pirates Fest Cayman Brack, November 25th through the 27th.
For the record, with Orrett Connor.
Initiating system.
For information that matters. For the record, with Orrett Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. No guests in the studio. Phone lines are open. One of our, hopefully Minister Bryan is still in the vehicle. This person says the bus service that was done or that was in place during a period of COVID, where the buses took persons to designated places and areas, it was well appreciated. The person talked about the fact that they were able to park their cars and then have that bus drop them off to designated areas throughout Grand Cayman. I am certain that Minister J.E. Banks, when he was in the studio, mentioned that as well, applauded the fact that it was put in place, and I can't recall what he said about the reintroduction of it, but he certainly had kudos for that system that was in place as well. Maybe we can get some feedback, on that as well, where you were able to park behind the old immigration building, in the government parking area there. You hop on a bus and designated areas throughout Georgetown. You were dropped off and you were picked up later on as well and able to go back to your vehicle. This way you didn't have to have your vehicle in central Georgetown. So that's a point. Whether or not we could get some feedback on that would be great. So folks, in 2021, early 2021, this article was written on the 3rd of January 2021. And it said that the UK has prepared a draft order to compel the British Overseas Territories to introduce publicly accessible registers, but said that in light of the firm commitments from the territories to adopt them, the UK government have decided that it is now not necessary to make the order under Section 51, but will keep this under review. So the draft order was placed. They decided not to make the order itself, but to put it in limbo. Well, that is like someone saying, something, I'm going to punch you in the face if my hand wasn't sick. Not a good analogy, but anyway, I think this was a good position for the parliamentarians to take, because it would have been a highly unpopular move at that point in time to put that draft order into effect, and what it would also demonstrate to all of the world to see that the British overseas territories are not as self-governing as they may want you and I to believe, or you and me to believe, that they're not. So they had to withdraw that, just like in the British Virgin Islands, where we expected the Constitution to possibly be suspended because of issues and because of recommendations made by the Commission of Inquiry over there. Again, it would have been extremely unpopular, especially the support that came from other regional organizations like CARICOM as well. They couldn't do it. So this was a way out for them that since, in light of the firm commitments from the territories to adopt them, the United Kingdom government have decided that it will now not be necessary to make the order under Section 51, but will keep this under review. Bearing in mind, Bermuda, the Cayman Islands, and other overseas territories said that they would not implement this unless this was a standard and this was a policy that was adopted globally as well. So the article goes on to say that Parliamentary Under Secretary Wenda Morton is quoted as saying, "The government is publishing a draft order in council, which has been prepared in accordance with Section 51 of the Sanctions and Anti-Money Laundering Act 2018. The draft order sets out the government's expectations of how the territories will adopt publicly accessible registers. The draft order has been published on gov.uk with a short accompanying note." And I have a copy of that draft order as well. I've obtained that online, and if time allows, I will share that with you as well. But this article summarizes it also. It says that the draft order sets minimum requirements for which the United Kingdom government deemed to be a compliant, publicly accessible register of company beneficial ownership in the overseas territories. This includes the form that the register must take and the information that must be made available, such that it would be broadly equivalent to that available in accordance with the provisions of Part 21A of the United Kingdom's Companies Act 2006. The draft order sets out a minimum definition of beneficial ownership. This encompasses both direct and indirect control over companies and includes, but is not limited to, control through shareholdings, voting rights, or the right to appoint or remove a majority of directors. Where a territory attaches a percentage to the type of control, the draft order sets out that this cannot be higher than 25%. The information on an individual must include their name, country of residence, nationality, month and year of birth, and the nature of their control over the company. in the light of the firm commitments from all of the inhabited overseas territories to adopt publicly accessible registers, the United Kingdom government have decided that it is now not necessary to make the order under Section 51, but will keep this under review. And it goes on to say that the UK government is spearheading an international campaign to encourage more countries to commit to publicly accessible registers by 2023. The United Kingdom will continue to work with all territories to support their implementation of publicly accessible registers of beneficial ownerships by the end of 2023. So that is the situation as it pertains to the draft order in council. Now, what I shared with you earlier this morning has to do with the European Court ruling against the European Union on the issue of beneficial ownership and basically to do having to do with information that would be publicly accessible. That means accessible by anyone. So again, going over that article. Now remember, UK has put in place a draft order in council to implement laws for the overseas territories if they fail to do so in relation to beneficial ownership. They decided not to invoke Section 51 at this point in time, but to hold the draft order in limbo just in case the British overseas territories do not comply. That's like when you were younger, your parents said, "You don't forget what you don't think, or don't forget where I have that belt, where that belt is located. You know, it's right there. If I have to use it, I will use it as well." So, the article stated that the top European court struck down a European Union mandate for public registers of beneficial ownership of all companies. In a decision which should stall global efforts to force countries to have open beneficial registers, the European Court of Justice said that the public registers infringed upon fundamental rights of privacy and personal data protection. And then the article goes on to talk about Bermuda's efforts in that regard as well, and that they said in 2020 that they would make ownership registers public in 2023, provided that there was a global standard by then. And we in the Cayman Islands basically said the same thing. And then the article points out that the European justices ruled that the provisions whereby the information on the beneficial ownership of companies incorporated within the territory of member states is accessible to all cases to any member of the general public is invalid. So they invalidated the whole concept, the provisions that make those details publicly available. Goes on to say that the court has ruled that registers containing the personal details of the owners of a company and accessible to the general public is an infringement of fundamental rights of privacy and personal data protection. And it says that a statement from the court said some of that information is accessible to the general public in particular through the internet. That law also provides that a beneficial owner may request the Luxembourg Business Register, and this was the where the case originated and those that brought the case, that the administrator of the register to restrict access to such information in certain cases. Have to take the commercial break. I believe I was right at this point when I took the commercial break earlier before we introduce our guest, but hopefully I'll be able to continue with this after this short commercial break. Please stay tuned.
At Doctors Hospital, we know life happens, and usually when you least expect it. So when unexpected medical issues arise, you need quality care close to home. Located in the heart of Georgetown, our accomplished team of physicians and medical staff treat minor urgent conditions such as migraines, chest and abdominal pain, shortness of breath, burns, broken bones, open wounds, and more. 24 hours, 7 days a week with no appointment necessary. Peace of mind is important when life happens. At Doctors Hospital, we're always here just for you. Need to speak to someone? Call 949-6066.
What's that? No sugar, same amazing taste? Coca-Cola Zero Sugar is here to stay. Classic taste, pure satisfaction. Be sure to stop into any Tortuga location and get your own case of Coke Zero. Or grab an ice cold one straight from the cooler. Brought to you by Tortuga Distributors Limited. Coca-Cola, taste the feeling, K-Man.
60 and bossy with J and money. Win a trip in easy, trust me. Yeah. Come on, just send some money. I instant entry. Look how you're lucky. Bossy, J and money, bossy. J and money, send you go a yard. Scene, bossy. Jamaica well bossy. 60 and bossy. We well proudy.
Celebrate Jamaica 60 with J and money for a chance to win a dream vacation for two to Jamaica, including airfare, resort stay, and more. Send money for a chance to win. Your loved ones will also be entered for a chance to win a brand new car. Competition runs from now until December 24th. J and money 60 and bossy enough.
Call 345-945-2014 for details. Available at J and Money locations across the Cayman Islands.
Bossy, Jamaica well bossy. 60 and bossy.
No J and bank account required.
Ahoy, yay mateys! You gonna get hooked. Get the event's treasure schedule at piratesfestcayman.com.
The Department of Agriculture would like to advise the public that appointments for Christmas abattoir services should be scheduled by November 30th. This can be done at the main office reception desk on Lottery Road, Bodden Town. To learn more about the DOA abattoir services, required information, and delivery dates, visit the Department of Agriculture on Facebook and Instagram or call 947-3090.
Radio Cayman News.
I have taken the decision and tendered my resignation.
The speaker is accused of alleged misconduct against two women at a government function back in September.
Members of the opposition are noticeably absent in Parliament.
Under this government, we are rapidly becoming a kangaroo parliament.
This PAC administration retains the confidence of the people of the Cayman Islands.
Radio Cayman. Your voice, your choice for today's biggest news.
For the record with Orrett Connor.
Initiating system.
For information that matters. For the record with Orrett Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning. Welcome back to For the Record. We're going to continue with this judgment by the European Court. So this Descent de Luxembourg, which is the Luxembourg District Court. They made submissions because they were seized of two actions brought by a Luxembourg company and by the beneficial owners of such a company, respectively, which had previously unsuccessfully requested this Luxembourg company to restrict the general public's access to information. So the article then points out that since that court considered, and that is the Luxembourg District Court, since that court considered that the disclosure of such information is capable of entailing a disproportionate risk of interference with the fundamental rights of the beneficial owners concerned, it referred a series of questions to the Court of Justice for a preliminary ruling concerning the interpretation of certain provisions of the Anti-Money Laundering Directive and the validity of those provisions in the light of the Charter of Fundamental Rights of the European Union. In today's judgment, the court, sitting as the Grand Chamber, holds that in light of the Charter, the provisions of the Anti-Money Laundering Directive, whereby member states must ensure that the information on the beneficial ownership of companies and other legal entities incorporated within their territories is accessible in all cases to any member of the general public is invalid. According to the court, the general public's access to information on beneficial ownership constitutes a serious interference with the fundamental rights to respect for private life and to the protection of personal data enshrined in Articles 7 and 8 of the Charter, respectively. Indeed, the information disclosed enables a potentially unlimited number of persons to find out about the material and financial situation of a beneficial owner. Furthermore, the potential consequences of the data subjects resulting from possible abuse of their personal data are exacerbated by the fact that once those data have been made available to the general public, they can not only be freely consulted, but also retained and disseminated. So I'm going to read that part again because that's a serious concern. Furthermore, the potential consequences of the data subjects resulting from possible abuse of their personal data are exacerbated by the fact that once those data have been made available to the general public, they cannot only be freely consulted, but also retained and disseminated. Previously, the UK government said it had drafted an order in council, and we spoke about that before. The order would have had the power of law, but was left dormant after Bermuda and 8 other overseas territories committed to making company ownership registers public. The overseas territories had already agreed to share company beneficial ownership information with the UK law enforcement agencies at short notice. So that commitment had already been made. David Cameron, the former British Prime Minister, demanded in 2013 that overseas territories should keep company owner information and make it available to the public. Bermuda's position has long been that it would be willing to make the register public only when it became a global standard. Otherwise, the island would suffer economic damage. And it goes on to say that although Britain subsequently left the EU, global pressures has continued to push countries to make company registers public. In response to a request for comments on the ruling, a Bermuda Finance Ministry spokeswoman said last night, she's quoted as saying, "The Ministry of Finance has taken note of the ruling and will continue to monitor developments in this regard. Consistent with her reputation as a premier international financial center, Bermuda remains committed to transparency, compliance with international standards, and cooperation as well. So, folks, there we have it. This is what Bermuda has said. Haven't heard anything yet from Cayman Islands authorities on this. Bermuda sees it as a big victory. Hope and we trust that we would see it in the same light as well. But rather than me sharing this and putting my layman's interpretation on it, it would be good to hear otherwise. And no doubt that at some point in time we will either have Cayman Finance will put out something in this regard. The Ministry for Financial Services, something will be put out in this regard as well to advise the general public here. We have already seen comments that I have received from our listeners. One who saw it as a huge a victory and wanted to applaud the EU for the courts for the decision that was made in that regard as well. I will try to find what that person said and share it with you again. Hopefully I will be able to find that information here. I believe it is, yes. So the person at that point in time wrote, and I'm going to read it again. And person says, "Good morning. Great news that you just shared on the European Court's decision on beneficial ownership matter that the EU and some G20 countries have been proposing for a while. The EU court decision is sensible and is totally consistent with what the Cayman Islands government and many local commentators on our financial services industry have been saying for the past 10 years. And they go on to say that the European Union beneficial the beneficial ownership register, I think earlier interpreted those acronyms to mean Bill of Rights, but beneficial ownership register proposal is totally contrary and incompatible with its own data protection legislation vis-a-vis personal data and rights to privacy. I and other people like Mr. Tony Travers are breathing a sigh of relief this morning. Thank you, European Court." So let's hear from all of the other persons in financial services as well, their opinions in relation to this as well. We do have a caller. Let's go to the phone lines. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record. Oh, we're going to take the break first and then take the caller after. Please stay tuned. For the Record, we'll be back shortly.
What's that? No sugar, same amazing taste? Coca-Cola Zero Sugar is here to stay. Classic taste, pure satisfaction. Be sure to stop into any Tortuga location and get your own case of Coke Zero. Or grab an ice cold one straight from the cooler. Brought to you by Tortuga Distributors Limited. Coca-Cola, taste the feeling, Cayman.
At Doctors Hospital, we know life happens, and usually when you least expect it. So when unexpected medical issues arise, you need quality care close to home. Located in the heart of Georgetown, our accomplished team of physicians and medical staff treat minor urgent conditions such as migraines, chest and abdominal pain, shortness of breath, burns, broken bones, open wounds, and more. 24 hours, 7 days a week with no appointment necessary. Peace of mind is important when life happens. At Doctors Hospital, we're always here just for you. Need to speak to someone? Call 949-6066.
Black Friday low price specials have started at Brand Source Home Gallery. Save on selected gas and electric laundry centers and laundry pairs. GE 27-inch gas laundry center only $1,199 and the electric $1,399. GE 24-inch front load laundry pair $1,879. Save up to $700 with special Black Friday prices. Now is the opportunity to replace the old laundry and save big. Hurry, limited quantities and these low prices end Saturday the 26th. Visit Brand Source Home Gallery at 209 Dorsey Drive in Industrial Park or call 623-5000 for details.
Pirates Fest. Pirates Fest, Pirates Fest, Pirates Fest 2022. 3 chairs for 3 islands.
Tune in every Monday through Friday at 12 p.m. for Radio Cayman's Midday Newscast. Radio Cayman, the People's Station, your trusted official source for the latest news. The 12 p.m. news is proudly brought to you by Health City Cayman Islands. World-class healthcare within your reach.
For the record, with Orrett Connor.
Initiating system. For information that matter. For the record, with Orrett Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning. Welcome back to For the Record. We're going straight to the phone lines. Caller, good morning. Welcome.
Good morning, Mr. O.C. and the Honorable Kenneth Bryan.
Good morning, Mr. Minister Bryan left us about 45 minutes ago.
Oh, okay. I had to go offline, so I didn't hear that. Mr. O.C., I heard you mention earlier and about, this study that they're doing and many other studies that they're doing, and how really it's going to be a waste of money without an overall country policy plan and a development plan.
I mentioned that too as well, that we needed that was all needed. Yeah.
You've said it. Right? We had a development plan that was drafted in 1975, and the same industry that threw that out is going to thwart any development plan being produced. And the same system of governance where ministers can make decisions and instruct the CPA how to find and what their determination needs to be. Because this is a prime example of the failures of our board system, where public authorities' law is not complied with. Ministers get involved in day-to-day administration. When Mr. Kurt Tibbetts tried to do the right thing to produce a country policy development plan in 2001, remember on November the 8th, we had the coup.
Mm-hmm.
He was deposed primarily because of the development plan and the lobbying of the development industry. The planning department had 5 people in the long-term planning department, and that planning department was abolished by the UDP government, and we have continued with the mishmash of stuff controlled by the developers who arrive with a desire. Some of them don't even have money. They just have a desire and a good storyline to feed to some politician to enroll them. They get apartments or they get whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And then we end up with this nonsense of having these studies. The 92 development tourism plan, you probably remember that. You were part of government. You remember some of the good things that were in that have been thrown away when they talked about a moratorium on the West Bay Beach, because our people were being pushed out of the tourism industry, which is what we have seen happening if certain things weren't done. Now we're going to do a study for transportation. So are we looking at this 150,000 people for the Burj Khalifa or whatever it is, the Caribbean iconic building, to push our population to 150,000 people, with generational Caymanians being between 25 and 30,000? Is that what they're going to plan for?
Mm.
Where is the growth in the population going to be east, or is West Bay going to end up being a set of apartment cubby holes like rabbit hutches, 25 stories tall with little one-bedroom apartments to service the labor-intensive hospitality industry, still paying $4.50 an hour, and then depending on tip. Where are we going with the country? And until that is decided, any money spent on a transportation study is a waste of time, a waste of money.
So what do we do about the pressing issues that need to be addressed that people encounter on a day-to-day basis? Can we wait that long?
Well, the time you go to fix it, the conditions that you're fixing are long past because you've added another 5,000 to 10,000 people using the roads. You got to put the brakes on. That's what you need to do. And catch your breath.
Okay.
You do that. That's what we need to do.
Okay.
And unless we do that, no fix is going to be a fix. It's a Band-Aid while you're not taking care of the wound and you're not taking care of what's causing the cause of all these sores that are breaking out on your skin. You got to find out the cause. The cause is too many people, not too many cars, too many people, and a very rural development system. House here, a house there, a house somewhere else. You got to drive quarter mile sometimes for a garbage truck to go pick up 2 bags of garbage. And the bus service, the same thing. It's not buses work where you have high-rise buildings and many people. New York City, some places. Miami has been trying to get their monorail system to work, but that's also a rural society in Florida. And people you have a few bus services, but most of them are so spread out, you don't have the masses of people. It's different like in Bermuda and Barbados, per square mile, the highest population in the world, as it used to be in the world for a country. And if you use those things here, adapt them here, with a rural community spread out all over the place, with hodgepodge, anybody can build anything anywhere. You can even put a quarry in the middle of a residential zone, like what was happening up in Beach Bay.
Okay. I'm going to ask you to wrap me up.
Yes, sir, I'm wrapped up. It's just total madness the way we're approaching things. It's total madness, whatever administration it is.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much, caller, for that. So, folks, if you want to get a sample of the nuclear option that is in the hands of the UK, this draft order in council, and they just put 20 and they put the 2 stars, by it, asterisk, because the year isn't put in yet. The Overseas Territories Publicly Accessible Registers of Beneficial Ownership of Companies order, and that is 20 and blank. But this is the part. Her Majesty, at that time would have been Her Majesty, we change it now to His Majesty, in exercise of the powers conferred on her by Section 51 of the Sanctions and Anti-Money Laundering Act 2018A, Section 1-2 of the Anguilla Act 1980B, the British Settlements Act 1887, and 1945C, Section 2-1, Subsection B of the Cyprus Act, Section 112 of the St. Helena Act, Section 5 and 7 of the West Indies Act, and that West Indies Act there, that basically covered Turks and Caicos and the Cayman Islands as well, and also an act that was used, that had to be used in order to grant independence to British colonies as well, and in exercise of all the other powers vested in Her Majesty, is pleased by and with the advice of her Privy Council to make the following order. And it says this order may be cited as the Overseas Territories Publicly Accessible Register of Beneficial Ownership of Companies Order 20 whatever, and comes into force on whatever date. This order extends to each British overseas territory listed in the schedule. And of course, it has, they would have a schedule for that. So I just wanted to introduce you to that there in terms of what pieces of legislation, all of these new clear options that the UK had to impose legislation on its overseas territories. One of our listeners has shared with me some of the feedback coming from other entities in relation to this new EU Court of Justice. And this is coming from Transparency International. And this person says the fight against cross-border corruption is set back by years. And it says a decision published today in the Court of Justice of the European Union invalidated a provision of the 5th EU Anti-Money Laundering Directive that guaranteed public access to information on companies' real owners. The case was sent to the CJEU from a Luxembourg court after challenges to the Luxembourg Business Register, which disputes the compatibility of the provisions with the right to privacy. It goes on to say access to beneficial ownership data is vital to identifying and stopping corruption and dirty money. The more people who are able to access such information, the more opportunity to connect the dots. We have seen time and time again, from the Czech Republic and Denmark to Turkmenistan, how public access to registers help uncover shady dealings. At a time when the need to track down dirty money is also so plainly apparent, the court's decision takes us back years. Recognizing that public scrutiny serves as a powerful deterrent to financial crime, the 5th EU Anti-Money Laundering Directive of 2018 required countries to open up their beneficial ownership registers to all members of the public. This provision made the EU anti-money laundering legislation the most progressive at the time, but the CJEU, Court of Justice of the European Union, has now erased such progress. However, not all appears to be lost. The court did recognize that civil society and the media have a legitimate interest in accessing such information given their role in the fight against money laundering. And that is was written by someone by the name of Roland Papp, who's a senior policy officer of Transparency International. Then we have another, this is what this person says now. Today, the European Court of Justice recognized that the press and civil society organizations are instrumental in preventing and combating money laundering and therefore have a legitimate interest in accessing information on beneficial ownership. It's now time for the European Parliament and the Council to codify this by guaranteeing access to the current 6th EU Anti-Money Laundering Directive. But that's not enough. The new directive should also include precise provisions that reconcile public access with privacy and security concerns as well. So those are two opinions on that. So there are some, including those writers at Transparency International, who say all is not lost, that and I only read you an article there. I haven't read the whole judgment, but based on what they're saying here is basically that it recognizes that civil society and the media have a right to access to this information because they help in uncovering things as well. And so any new legislation or any legislation must be crafted along those lines to include access by civil society and the media as well. Very interesting, folks. I try to, being a non-financial person, but certainly being familiar with the whole discussions and the, on this and what has transpired so far, I hope that and trust that I have been able to explain to help you to understand what it is all about, we now look for entities such as Cayman Finance, as well as Ministry for International Finance to brief us on the subject. Probably won't hear a whole lot from the private sector itself because they do have their clients and stuff, but they prefer to keep a low profile because at the end of the day, their main interest is their bottom line, not their bottom line. Bottom line. Their main interest is their bottom line. So we may not hear too much from the private sector in this regard. Certainly Cayman Finance, we hope to hear from them. And like I said, the government will put out something as well, and hopefully, have one of the ministers, on the show to talk about it as well. Because if it's a victory for financial services and for the Cayman Islands, we need to say so as well. We have seen those writers on Transparency International who say that it's partially a victory for them as well as far as civil society and the press, the media is concerned as well. Folks, I want to thank all of you who participated this morning. I want to thank the Minister, Honorable Kenneth Bryan, for being here, as well. I want to remind you that we are our brothers and our sisters' keepers. There is always someone out there who's less fortunate than we are. And I ask you to consider extending a helping hand. If you can't do that, then I suggest you donate to a worthy charity, because we always want to consider those who need, not necessarily those who want or even those who crave. So I say to you, have a great day. Continue to support your radio station, Radio Cayman. Join Sterling Dwayne Banks at 12:15 for Talk Today. And as usual, we ask the good Lord to bless these three beautiful, wonderful Cayman Islands. And also remember that email that I've received in relation to seafarers in West Bay. That person was sent that to me in advance of what is going to take place this afternoon in West Bay as well. So those awards will be given out today. All of you who can be there, please go out and show our gratitude or respect and do give homage to all of our seafarers, those who have passed on as well as those who are currently with us as well. Folks, please stay safe, have a great day, and God bless.
Follow Radio Cayman on Twitter. All the latest information, breaking news, community events, and more. Follow us at twitter.com/Radio Cayman.
For the record, proudly brought to you by Pirates Fest 2022. Stay in the know. Get the full event lineup at piratesfestcayman.com.
Vamped Motors, the only authorized Ford and Toyota dealership serving the Cayman Islands. Coca-Cola, available across the Cayman Islands from Tortuga distributors. Accept no substitutes. Taste the feeling with Coca-Cola. Brand Source Home Gallery, inspiring luxury. West Bay Pharmacy, taking care of your health. And JN Money. From abroad to yard. Fast, affordable, convenient. Doctors Hospital. Peace of mind is important when life happens. Doctors Hospital, always there for you. Call 949